Latin has like many parts. One of them is reading and just translation, but others part have like cultural backgrounds and historical like events that are related to them. So would you think Latin plays a role in the Western civilization's development and how it just influences the later developing history?
Yeah, definitely. You're right on with that, Roger. Culture, so history, etymology, philosophy, religion, like all of those things are massive parts of learning Latin, and we do a lot of those things the further you go in Latin. So for example, Latin 1 is really just memorizing vocabulary and grammar and then practicing those things. But by the time you get to Latin 3 in AP Latin, or even now in our new Honors Latin 2 class that we started last year, there's a large history background in it. In AP Latin, we learn about Caesar and the conquest of Gaul. We also learn about Virgil's Aeneid and Roman mythology and a little bit of history and religion too. Honors Latin 2 and Honors Latin 3 have a lot of historical components. We learn about the Punic Wars. We learn about Caesar and the Gallic War. So that's what we do. And then why do we do it? What are the benefits of it? I think in many ways the legacy of Rome is still with us as far as our history and culture. We're different than the Romans, that's true. Sometimes people go too far in making analogies to, say, the fall of the Roman Empire or the fall of the Roman Republic being very similar to modern history, and there could be a kernel of truth in that. But what's much more accurate of Rome's influence upon us are really just, I think, cultural values and cultural traditions. Some good, some bad. So for example, the Romans believed strongly in the rule of law, about what they would have called the Republic, but we really just think of as democracy. It's true that America is a republic, but so is essentially every single democracy in any part of the world. Not just America, but Canada, France, South Korea, Japan. Nowadays, when we say democracy, we just mean what the Romans meant by republic, and that just means a rule of, as John Adams would have said, of laws, not men. So a legal system that, at least in theory, has to be obeyed by everyone, even the powerful. We all know that's not always what happens, but that theory goes back to the Romans. So do more negative things, like, for example, imperialism, right? We spend a lot of time in AP Latin learning about the Roman conquest of Gaul, and if we really think about it even a little bit, we might not think that it was the most moral thing to do. It doesn't seem like the Gauls did anything wrong. It doesn't seem like they deserved to be conquered, and that kind of thing has happened all throughout history. So we can apply that to, say, Europeans' conquest of the Western Hemisphere. We could apply it, say, to Russia's barbaric invasion of Ukraine. History has lots of examples of powerful groups, powerful countries doing things they shouldn't have done. So there's nothing wrong with not just learning about a culture's good things and emulating them, but a culture's darker sides and trying not to repeat them, trying to improve on the moral mistakes of the past.
Yeah, I agree.